everyone, at 12 News Valley Dish. I'm your host, Tram. Chef Andy is ready to make the fresh salmon cakes over baby greens with tomatillo vinaigrette. The recipe is already on our website, valleydish.azcentral.com. Here are the ingredients. You're going to need 1 pound of salmon, 1 pound of salmon, 1 egg, half a cup of grated pepper jack cheese, half a cup of fresh breadcrumbs, a half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 cup of cornmeal, and a 1/4 cup of olive oil. For the vinaigrette, you will need 8 tomatillos, a 1/3 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 garlic cloves, 1 chipotle pepper in adobo sauce, salt and pepper, and 14 ounces of spring mix salad greens. And I am excited more so about the tomatillos, but we're gonna get to that in a second. First off, we want to start with making the salmon cakes, starting with the bread.
Yeah, the first tip, really, or the thing is that we want breadcrumbs, and when I say fresh breadcrumbs, you have to have like a slice of bread here. I mean like fresh breadcrumbs, not go to the store and buy a new can of ones that rattle.
Right.
And so you can just take the bread and put it in the food processor, and how about if I do it the other way? I'm not used to working with it backwards.
That's okay. Andy,
this worked when we did it a minute ago. We tested this.
Testing this.
One more time. It worked. There we go. Okay. All right. I knew it worked.
I thought Archie, our photographer, would have to put it down again and try it. Okay,
so,
good.
And the thing is about fresh breadcrumbs when you're making something like this, when you're making fish cakes, which these are, or meatloaf, or any of those kind of things, you end up with breadcrumbs, if you use dry, a really dry filling. So I just want to make those first. I'm going to use the same food processor, so just going first. And then we're going to put our fish in. So cut the salmon into low cubes. I'm so glad you talk
about the fresh breadcrumbs, because my husband has started to do that in recent months. And I thought, oh, that's so, first of all, it's a great idea, because normally we would just toss the bread when it gets stale.
Right.
But why not use that fresh bread, put it in a Ziploc bag? You said it's a good idea to throw it in the freezer.
Right, absolutely.
And then you could use it anytime
you want. Then you have
want.
fresh breadcrumbs, yeah. And the thing about soft breadcrumbs, they absorb all the juicy stuff, and they keep it from oozing out.
Right.
So you end up with like fish cakes or meatloaf or whatever you're making that's actually really moist. If you put dry breadcrumbs in something, you have a pretty good chance of making whatever you're making pretty dry. So that was pretty fast, because we're going to dump the cheese in.
Yeah.
So,
okay, now I know you wanted this grated, but it's really crumbly.
That's good.
That's okay?
Yeah, the nice thing about a food processor is it just is going to do this even more. So in goes our
and
cheese.
I noticed you only did it, you only kind of pulsed it halfway.
Right, because we're going to pulse it some more. If I keep pulsing the fish a lot and then add more stuff, I'm going to have fish paste.
Ooh.
And fish paste is baby food. It's kind of mealy in texture. Nobody wants to eat it. So we want to kind of make fish burgers. So I have a little French sea salt here, but any sea salt works.
Right.
And a little fresh cracked pepper.
Cute gadget.
We like our gadgets.
I love that. Yeah, and I also like the color-coordinated food processor, too.
You asked me about that, because I have a lot of them at work, and otherwise people put the wrong tops on them and they break them. So we're just going to pulse this until we get sort of fish burger, and we're there.
Kind of coarse.
And then last food processor tip, if when you do this, you want to hold the blade so it doesn't come falling out.
Right.
You wish you had a third arm so that you could use a spatula.
Yeah.
If you put your finger in the hole in the bottom of the blade, you can do this with one hand. So you don't need a third arm.
I love the tips that you bring.
So
very nice.
So there's our fish. Let's get this out of the way. And then we're going to take and put cornmeal on a cookie sheet.
And why is that?
Because we're going to use this to bread our fish cake. So
a little bit even more breading in a way.
Well, the bread, that's inside of it. That's sort of the filling. If you use an ice cream scoop and you go like this, you end up with fish cakes that are all the same size.
Great idea.
And we want to get them on both sides. I'm just going to do a couple. You can do the rest.
Could you do another, if you didn't want to do salmon cakes?
Tilapia.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. With white fish, that would still work well?
And then just pat these down. So now we have cakes that are all basically the same size. And we're just going to take a little bit of olive oil and brush it on a griddle.
Oh, you know what'd be good too? Shrimp.
Shrimp cakes work.
Or as my producer says, shrimp.
There you go. And we're going to just take and put a cake on.
Andy, I was saying you didn't laugh more at that.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to get your new stove all covered with stuff.
Oh gosh, that's okay. We're used to making the counter a little dirty. Okay, so flatten it up a little bit. Gosh, I could keep going and going with these salmon cakes.
So we're going to cook these. And the thing about any kind of fish that you're making like this, we only want to turn them one time. If you turn them a bunch of times, they're going to fall apart and you're going to have fish hash, which would be okay, but it doesn't look nearly as pretty on the plate as fish cakes. And fish changes color when it cooks. Salmon is a really good example because it kind of goes from that orangey color to that pale pink.
Oh, so it's a good indicator.
Right, don't turn it over until it's changed color at least halfway up.
Right.
Which is, the same thing when you're making regular pancakes. You're really not supposed to, flip them a whole bunch of times.
Right.
So I think I'll just put one more on and we'll just kind of go from
that. I could keep going and going. This is so much fun and easy.
Okay. So those are going to cook for a minute. And we can actually, if you want, start the dressing and then just kind of come back to these in a second.
Yeah, because I want to see,
I'm going to flip one over.
Right. I want to see when it's just about ready.
Okay. We have a couple minutes.
Okay.
So let's just get this out of our way.
All right.
Okay, so for our dressing...
Now, please educate me a little bit more on the tomatillos. And how is that different in taste, texture, everything from your regular tomatoes?
It's not a tomato. I mean, the name sounds like it is, but it's not a tomato. It's loosely related. If you look at this, if you're from where they have gooseberries, it looks more like it's closer to a gooseberry. But they're all in the same, distant related family. But they come with a husk.
Right.
And so they're kind of sticky. And I want to sort of show you that, pull the husk off. You notice how it catches on my finger? Yeah.
Yeah, can I touch it?
Yeah. It's pretty tacky.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So, yeah, if you really, there you go. Like, it takes a while to fall off. That stuff is sticky enough that when you wash them, you want to kind of rub them under the water like you would when you're washing your hands. If you just hold them in a colander, it will stay on.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff is,
you really want to get it off.
It's bitter. It's kind of like natural insecticide, so people ask why your food tastes like bug spray if you don't wash them.
Ooh, that's not good.
It's not like it's bug spray. If it's water soluble, it comes right off. And they're very mild and gentle. If you've had green salsa that wasn't spicy, it was mostly tomatillos. So, why don't you have you cut these up?
How does it taste, though, in the raw?
It tastes kind of bland. I mean, some people say that they have a hint of pear flavor. Sure, absolutely.
Just to see, because I've never had it in the raw.
It's a pretty mellow, gentle flavor. I mean, I would call it almost like a tomato-less flavor.
I was going to say, it tastes like a tomato with no flavor.
It's a little tangy.
A little bit tangy.
But it's really, really gentle. So why don't you go ahead and chop those up. Yeah.
Okay. Just because we're going to put it in the blender
We're going to put it in the blender, right. And we're going to put in there also a chipotle and adobo sauce, which is, it's a smoked jalapeno that comes in a little can,
Right.
And so that's going to go right in. And we're going to put in some garlic.
Now, with these tomatillos, can you get them still at your Fry's, your Safeway, anywhere?
You can get the tomatillo anywhere. At least in town. If you want to go to Food City, they have like this big of a counter, and if you want to go to Safeway, they have this big, but they pretty much always have it, or Fry's. But we're in the Southwest. Most grocery stores have tomatillos most of the year.
Okay. Are they expensive?
They're like tomatoes. Maybe, a couple cents more, but they're not expensive.
Okay, good.
We just slice the tips off the garlic.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like to use those at all.
The little woody parts that we don't want in there. Thank you. So, in goes our garlic. We're going to put in our olive oil. The nice thing about this is it all goes into one place and you just push the button.
I'm not going to use your tacky one. The tacky tomatillo.
I call it the tacky because it hasn't been washed.
Right.
And there's just a hint of sugar in there. Because the chipotle can have a hint of bitterness, and although they're not bitter at all, they're sort of on the astringent side, and with our oil and everything.
Well, and don't you want to balance out kind of the acidity and the kind of tanginess of the tomatillos?
You probably could have just done that by yourself.
Oh, okay. I like the extra help.
You want a little salt and pepper.
You want all of it in here.
We do want all of it.
Okay.
That's
a lot.
The really nice thing about this dressing, it's going to go down a lot in volume, but the dressing is mostly pureed vegetable. So you can actually have a lot of dressing on your salad, and you're not, it's not like a dressing where you're taking mayonnaise or, some kind of cheesy thing and doing it. So
it's almost like we're making our own little salsa for our salad.
Well, salsa means sauce.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of we are.
A little bit.
Okay, and here we go.
That probably tastes better.
I have a spoon someplace, but they might have hit it on me. Sorry. You can dip lettuce here. You can dip a piece of lettuce.
I would love to. Thank you.
Okay. And we can turn over our fish cake. Oh, nice color.
Ooh, that's good. Whoa.
Golden brown.
That adobo sauce kicks you.
It does.
Yeah.
A little bit in a good way.
Yeah, it brings a smokiness and a kick.
It's a nice color.
Which I don't expect in a dressing, in a salad dressing. Well, in a vinaigrette,
Right, and we're going to put it, I usually don't dump it all in the salad because it just makes more than we need. But put a little bit on the fish cakes too. like instead of tartar sauce or something like that, it really goes nicely with them.
I'm all about the sauce.
The nice thing about fish cakes like this, like any pancake, you turn it over, it's going to cook pretty fast on the other side.
Yes.
And as soon as they're done, we don't really care what the other side looks like because people only have to see the pretty side.
Oh, exactly.
So, you know, when they're done. But so they're going to take a couple more minutes.
I love how you've let it, you know, kind of just crust up real well.
Doesn't it have a nice crust?
That,
it looks like you fried it, really, as opposed to just had it in just that little bit of oil. But it just takes and sears that layer of cornmeal right to the fish.
Yeah, I love the cornmeal, especially at the bottom of a pizza.
Let's put some of our dressing in here. Do you want to toss this up?
Sure.
Okay.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, if you put that back in the refrigerator for future use, how long will it stay?
3 or 4 days.
Okay.
If you know you're going to make it for everything ahead, I would chill the tomatillos and everything ahead so that you're starting out with cold stuff. That way it doesn't have to cool down and it lasts a little longer. And if it was going to be a couple of days, I would make it in this in the morning and put it in the refrigerator in the blender.
Okay.
But longer than that, I would probably transfer it to a glass container of some sort.
Got it.
But the nice thing about using a blender, too, is you notice this isn't separating.
Yeah, it's all in one.
So you get a really nice emulsified dressing. You know, it doesn't separate into oil and vinegar. So you're
we are ready to plate. You said the way you like to present it, pile it up high, tall.
And then we take.
Ooh, that is a lot of salad.
Well, it serves for, you know. It's an entree salad.
Yum. Yeah, I'm gonna do the other side.
Okay.
Very, very pretty plates, I might add, too.
They're for spring.
Perfect for, I was gonna say perfect for spring.
For our 2 weeks of spring before it's gonna be 100 degrees.
Triple digits right around the corner, right?
Yeah.
I notice you like to kind of do the cakes on the side.
Yeah, so people can kind of see them.
Yep.
You know, they look perkier.
Okay, bon appetit, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, always. In fact, next time we're already talking about the next dish you're gonna make. Empanadas?
We could do empanadas.
Let's do it.
And not too hot.
First of all, I love the vinaigrette. And these salmon cakes, they're really good. And
they're really simple.
They are simple. You didn't put a whole lot in there. That's very nice. It's very light, very clean.
It's basically the flavor of salmon with just that little bit of the pepper jack cheese.
I would rather have these salmon cakes than just salmon. Thank you for opening my palate up to a new salmon dish. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, we'll see you back here soon. Up next, folks, take a look at this. We have got Stephanie Peterson making these homemade piñatas that you can do yourself. It is so easy. Wait till you see. And also, 12 News wants to paint the 200 EVB Plaza red, white, and blue. Come down to 200 East Van Buren tonight at 5 p.m. and bring your American flag. Stay with us. Like us and win a trip to Park City, Utah. Visit parkcity.azcentral.com and enter to win the Park City Prize Package.